I don't know, I might ask some more, I don't know, and this is just going out in left field. I might ask some more specific questions, like, so what video game systems do you own, maybe?
Okay.
Or, like, in general, how often do you, I mean, like, how many hours a week do you think? I mean, you know, like, those kind of, I don't know if those would help, but, like, to get a better idea of, like, you know, because if you're, like, you know, interviewing somebody who doesn't play video games at all, then their perceptions of this stuff is probably going to be a little bit different than somebody who plays with their iPhone, like, every day. And wait time is kind of a big thing. Like, after you ask a question, just, like, shut up and wait for, like, not 30 seconds, but, like, 5 or 6 seconds. Just be like, okay. And it feels kind of awkward, but sometimes the awkwardness of the silence makes the person you're interviewing say things that, you know, kind of talk more.
Does it have to have two people asking questions at the same time, or should we just, like, limit it to one person? Or it doesn't really matter?
No. I don't know that it really matters. Because you might, you know how, like, this is why in the physics thing that I'm doing this semester, we're doing focus groups instead of, like, I mean, it's hard to get 6 people in a room to stare at, like, an iPhone app for a half an hour or something. But usually you get, like, a lot more, like, people bouncing ideas off of, yeah, I found the same thing when I was playing it, you know, or, like, things that you wouldn't even think of to ask. So maybe, like, interviewing a group of people rather than just one.
So maybe doing by pairs.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 people at the same time, I would say.
Okay.
But, I mean, you lose, like, the individual thing, but then you know, like, if you ask someone how many hours they spend playing a video game, well, I don't know that it's really going to matter. In a group of people, they're probably not going to say, like, 62 hours a week, because that's embarrassing. But, or maybe I'm just skewed in my perception. Depends on who you're talking to, maybe. But, yeah, I don't know. Or, like, maybe, what do you think about this? Did you ask me that? What do you think about this game?
I think he did.
Okay.
Like, so...
would you play this?
Oh, okay.
You know, if it were available to download?
Mm-hmm.
Would you pay money for this? You know, something like that?
Okay.
Like...
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess from just, let's say if I didn't, describe you the premise of the game afterwards, if you just sort of take that initial sequence, like, did you get a sense of, like, what the game was trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, you know, like most iPhone apps, like that surgeon one I was talking about, you know, you could download the light version and just play maybe the first, like, sequence of the game. And then once you beat it, it's going to say, like, do you want to download the full version for, like, $4.99 or something like that? And, like, so basically you're providing, like, this hook that's kind of trying to get people to like what you're showing them enough to buy the whole full version. So I guess probably I assume this is, like, a project for a class, because I think Inez said something like that. So, like, you're just designing that, like, initial light hook version, and then the rest of it would kind of...
But, like, right now what we're testing is just, like, that. Like, we're testing something very small right now, because we didn't even have, like, this is our first milestone, so we had to come up with, like, some sort of story and something on paper that we can demonstrate that we've improved upon. So it's really hard to test something that has animation. It's like, especially because it's a prototyping thing, and especially because, like, according to what we'll have to show in class, we're supposed to sequence of steps that are not possible with an animation.
Right.
And a game thing, it's like...
Yeah, I don't even know the first thing about designing anything like this.
So...
Okay. So I guess...
Alright.
So I wonder. So what is this improving on? Just games in general, or, like, the exercise thing that you're talking about?
So this is sort of response to, for one, need for a project, but also to, just a response to sort of like a challenge out there to sort of create something that would get people to go out and walk more, explore their environment a bit more. But, give people who wouldn't normally do that, to do that. We're trying to just bridge that gap between games and exercise.
So let's say that, like, would you be tempted to, like, take the game along with you when you take your dogs? If, like, the walking that you do with your dog lets you unlock different levels?
That's what I was thinking. Like, what if it wasn't a zombie game? Because again, if you get stopped by your neighbor on the street and you're like, what are you doing?
No, but not like jumping jacks. I mean, if you're like, you can accrue, like, I think that one of the premise of the game is like, if you do something that is like that, you can get points, or like you can have like money or stuff
well,
like
that.
that.
So what if instead of like a zombie killing game that has kind of this abstract thing, what if it was actually like a concrete, like kind of a scavenger hunt around St. Louis or something?
That's harder to code.
Well, I mean, but like, if you have like a GPS thing, so that thing knows how far you went, right? It's going to say like, in order to get to the West End, you've got to walk 500 feet or 0.1 miles or some crap like that. And I mean, like, given, like, I could walk back and forth in my living room, or I could actually go out on the street and walk.
Yeah.
So you said you want to play the game in your real world.
Yeah,
You
imagine.
set up the virtual world. So you want the map to be a real St. Louis.
Or, like, maybe it's like forest, like a scavenger hunt through Forest Park or something, like a place where you would normally exercise.
Okay.
And maybe it's like, in order to unlock the next level, you have to get from point A to point B in less than a minute, you know, or something like that. And so maybe that would require you walking or speed walking or like jog. I don't know, like if that would.
Okay. So do you think that would you say that does the story really help you get more involved in a game, or does it for this type of game do you see a story as just
When I play, like, most games, I just skip the story and go straight to the game play kind of thing. I mean, the story's a nice addition if you care, but most of them aren't, like, fun enough where you've seen it before, like 100 times, so what's the point of spending the time reading it?
But your amateur searching game, you only played it because of the story.
No, I mean, the gameplay, it was kind of a balance between... I mean, the story's definitely secondary, but I paused to read it because it's amusing enough to.
okay?
Because when he... Yeah, it's highly amusing. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on the story, probably.
Okay.
But I think it's... Yeah, I don't know. See, I would download something, I think, that was like walking around Forest Park or like a location-specific kind of thing, where you could take a day and go to a scavenger hunt. Because I wonder, it might even have applications, because like in the outreach office that I work for, they have... there's an internet company that they use that actually creates scavenger hunts in cities based on text messaging programs. So, like, you put in St. Louis and, like, your goal for, like, their goal for the scavenger hunt is for the incoming freshmen to learn the city and understand how to use the Metrolink and stuff like that. And so they put things on there like, visit the arch, you know, and they go to the arch, and when their GPS coordinates hit a certain point, they're sent the next text message. And so there's an internet company that does that, so I think your game could probably do something like that. You know, like when you get to the foot of the arch, you get the next sequence in the thing, and then maybe the next one is go to the Cardinal Stadium, you know, and like you get to the Cardinal Stadium. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually going to take the time to do that, but it might be interesting for like a sightseeing perspective / exercise, like if you're visiting a city like St. Louis or New York or San Francisco to have... Or, I mean, like, if you made the base program, other people could create their own scavenger hunts, you know? Or they do it all online with this geocache stuff.
Yep.
Like that. I have a lot of friends that do that stuff, and it's not even, like, geocache. A lot of my friends just hide crap in the library and then create, like... Because they work in a library at Texas A&M, so, like, they hide things in books in the library, and people have to, like, figure out the clues to figure out which book to go get, to open the book, to find the note that tells them where to go next. Which would be mildly amusing. And that could, I think that there's some possibility combining that with, like, exercise. Somewhat. I don't know.
All right.
Any more, I guess, if any more questions for us, or any more, the open-ended?
Okay, yeah, my only other question is, like, I don't know how, the questions you're asking about, how often do you exercise, when do you exercise, like, how are those going to help you
So I guess
create it better?
Sure. Well, I guess we're trying to find out what motivates people to go exercise. If it's anything related to like who they're with, or what they're actually doing, or maybe it's the goal of their exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So what motivates them. And try to encapsulate that motivation in this game to help the game motivate them to get out there more.
Yeah, because this is more extrinsic thing. Yeah, because like a large man screaming at me to like do another push-up always motivates me, but. I'm not sure that zombies would motivate me quite as much as large men yelling at me.
Okay.
But some fun. Sounds like an interesting endeavor.
Okay. So I guess one last thing. So would you buy this game?
At the moment, probably not. I may play the light version for a couple
Sure.
minutes, but